welcome to the channel. My name is Thomas, and just over a year and a half ago, I started on a weight loss journey. The goal was simple: get healthy fast as I safely could. And so what I decided to do was document my journey. And this video is the result of many weeks of work, of getting on the scales, of eating healthy, eating better, moving more. Before we dive into this video, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I just want to put this disclaimer out saying I am not a health and fitness expert. I created this channel and started vlogging this journey to just show you guys what weight loss looks like for somebody, hopefully, possibly like you. I'm a normal person with a regular person budget, working a normal job. And I just wanted to see, A, was it possible? B, can I do it? And if so, how? And C, how can I get the message out to everybody? So this isn't dietary advice. This is just the thoughts of a year and a half long weight loss journey. And I just wanted to share it with you. So with that being said, I feel like it's the best time to dive in. So as you see from this video right here.
Hello everybody, my name's Thomas. Happy New Year. I'm 27 years old and I have a problem that I have had for many years. The problem, if it's not apparent, is that I am overweight. I am fat. I weigh a lot. I don't actually know exactly how much I weigh, but I know that it's a problem.
That was filmed January 2nd of 2024. If you are watching this pretty, much as it comes out, you will see that it's been only a little over a year and a half since then, and there's been some changes, right? But I think the best way to start is to kind of introduce myself. Myself from the beginning and myself from now, today, July of 2025. So my name is Thomas. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and I have a warehouse job, just a regular manual labor job where I spend about half my time in the warehouse, moving and pushing around product, and about the other half the time in an office. At the start of my weight loss journey, I was 326.6 pounds. I was a size 44 going on 46-inch waist, and a 2 to 3XL size t-shirt. For height, because I get a lot of people asking me, I'm 5 foot 8 inches tall. That hasn't changed a whole lot. And yeah, that was me in the beginning. Morbidly obese, as you can see in this BMI chart, which is the chart that I have been using pretty much from the get-go. I was right in the red. I mean, it was getting pretty sketchy there for a minute. At my heaviest, I had committed to many crash diets, weight loss, inspirational journeys. You name it, I tried it. And as you could probably tell by my size back then, I hadn't had a lot of success. But I decided, you know what, this was going to be the year, 2024 was going to be the year that I get my life back. And that was the inspiration behind the channel name, Getting My Life Back. And so today, July 10th, 2025, I stand here, 29 years old, still 5 foot 8 inches tall, a waist size of approximately 30 on the high side and 29 to 28 on the low side. Different clothing people will have different sizes. So between 28 and 30 inches waist size, and now down to a small or medium size t-shirt. Life is good, life is happy. I've aged a year and a half since then, and I am very lucky and thankful to say that I am in the best shape of my life. Now, again, it's very important to preface all this by saying I'm not an expert, right? All of this came about by simply trying, right? Trying things. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work. More often than not, I tried it and it worked. I learned very early on the best advice that somebody gave to me very early on. It was a very blunt message saying, Thomas, you're worried about the wrong things. It is as simple as calories in versus calories out. And in the beginning, that was what I took. That was the knowledge that I took and just kind of started the journey. And it led me down a very good path. Now, it's a little bit more to me. There's a little bit more of a breakdown. But initially, that's where I was at. I knew that my weight was getting out of control. I knew that I was spiraling. My sleep was suffering. My health was not good. My physical abilities to do simple things like bending over to tie my shoes or just crouching down to do projects around the house, it was getting harder and harder to do. I also realized that, again, I'm not getting any younger. You know, to a few of you folks out there, 28, 29 might seem like, oh, you're a baby still. But, the facts are facts. I am not getting any younger. So I knew that if I wanted to extend my life and give myself the best chance and the best shot of a good, long, healthy, and fulfilling life, I had to start doing that work and doing it quickly. So when I got on the scales for the first time, right, back in January of 24, I knew that I had some things that I wanted to achieve, but I wanted to really kind of clarify those goals from the get-go before I started anything, right? And the 3 goals were as follows. Number 1, no longer be obese. Because honestly, I wasn't sure the last time was that I wasn't obese. So my first goal was 175 pounds. Now you guys might be looking at that chart from earlier and saying, Thomas, yeah, but that's still overweight. You're right. But my goal was first and foremost to just no longer be obese, just to get myself out of that obese category. I just wanted to prove that to myself. Number 2, and I wanted to look good and feel good about myself for the first time. And number 3, again, another one, I'm not getting any younger. There's gonna come a time here pretty soon where my wife and I are gonna wanna start thinking about expanding the family a little bit. And so I thought that was gonna be a really, really good goal. Do it not only for myself, with looking and feel good about myself, but also, again, giving myself and my family and my future family the best chance of a long, healthy, and happy life. So those were my goals, and that was how things started. Sorry, you'll see me look over here. I've been writing some notes down in preparation for this video. It's been a year and a half, so give me a little bit of grace. So this takes us into our second chapter, which was getting started, right? I feel like I suffer, and a few of you guys out there, maybe it's hard to admit, but I feel like a lot of us suffer from the education phase, right? That bug where we really want to do something, we want to lose weight, and then we start doing the research, right? And 5 minutes on Google turns into a few days, turns into a few weeks, and then we realize we haven't actually gotten anything done, but we can pat ourselves on the back because we tried. And I've done that many, many times before. The first thing that I needed to do was lose weight, right? I had to figure out what is weight loss, right? We all know what it is, but do we actually really know what is weight loss? And then what is the difference between sustainable weight loss and just losing weight for a few days or weeks and then just piling it right back on again? I figured throwing out everything that I thought I knew about weight loss was the safest bet. After all, I was at my biggest, at my heaviest. My widest, and my longest. And so I realized that everything I knew or I thought I knew about weight loss probably wasn't doing me much value anyway. So I decided just to throw it all out and to start from square one. Now, the internet is a pretty divided place. I'd say, I think it's pretty safe to say, right? You ask one question, you could probably get 700,000 different answers. It could be the most simple thing ever. But one of the things that I found very, very quickly on, through both research and the comments, was calories, right? Calories, that's what this boils down to. And so I realized very quickly that I needed to figure out what my maintenance calories were for a 326.6 pound adult, and then figure out what the deficit is, right? Because as soon as I start working on a deficit, that's when my body can really start to use up all that excess fat, right? We saw in the video, we saw the pictures now, I have quite a bit of fat. I could afford to lose quite a bit. So what I decided to do was I decided to break things down, right, into different kind of stages, different phases, right? First one, phase 1. Second one, phase 2. Third one, phase 3. And then I got phase 4 and phase 5, right? Okay, but I feel like it's the best way to do it is to just kind of start and give each one of you guys the very, very simple breakdown, right? So we're gonna start off with phase 1. Phase 1, this was my first and my second week of my weight loss journey. Phase 1 was simple. I had a couple of goals that I wanted to accomplish in phase 1. That was figuring out my calories, figuring out my intake and how much I was burning off in a day, right? Pretty simple, and I wanted to keep it simple because I didn't want to get myself overwhelmed. At 326.6 pounds, using calculator.net, I was able to figure out that my maintenance calories were 2,911, right? It's a pretty generous amount for most people. And for me now, I think about that and I'm like, wow, that is a lot. But at 326.6 pounds, my maintenance calories are 2,911. I was eating approximately 3 meals a day with snacks, and I had made a goal basically to give myself no soda, right? I drink soda now. I want to get that out there. I do drink a lot of soda. I enjoy it. I love the flavor, and I'm losing weight, and I feel like I don't really have a whole lot of vices. I can't really think of many, if any, that I have. So I feel like soda being my one vice, it's not a bad one to have. Diet soda, just to, again, be open, honest, and transparent about that. So again, first thing, figure out my calories. Second thing, to get my meals planned, right? Not to actually have a written out menu, but to just give myself, you're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then 2 snacks in between. That was what I was shooting for. And once I have that, also cutting out my soda. Now that I've got that figured out, my next goal is to track everything. I mean everything. Every glass of water, every almond, carrot, you name it, I had it. I just needed to get in the habit of doing it. I would write it down and I would try everything. You know, even measuring out my sauces that I was putting on my food, everything, track it. And then there was also this little bit of starting to move a little bit throughout the day, right? Just little things, right? You know, oh, I haven't moved in an hour. Let's just get up and do a lap around my work. Or I've been sitting here watching this movie for the past hour and a half. Let me just go and, just do a round around the yard. Just little things, right? And in phase 1, so that's between week 1 and week 2, so 2 weeks, I lost 11.4 pounds. Pretty good, right? Still a lot, still a long ways to go, but 11.4 pounds down. Now, this is where phase 2 begins. Phase 2 started at the end of week 2, and this is from the beginning of week 3 to the end of the 3rd month. So this is where I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with the new lifestyle, with the new diet. I started to look at, now that I've been tracking everything, I started to look back through that book and figure out, what I could be cutting out or what I could be substituting. Little things. Again, the tracking is there for a few different reasons. And for me, again, if you do it right and if you do it honestly, you can start to figure out, okay, well, I'm having, for example, 4 diet sodas a day. Maybe I can cut that down to 3 diet sodas a day. Maybe I can cut it down to 2 and make it up with a electrolyte, sugar-free beverage, whatever, right? It's just about taking a look and seeing, well, Thomas, you don't really need that. Maybe you can cut that out or swap it out with this, right? It's not about beating yourself up. It's just about learning yourself better and the foods that you're putting into your body. I also, at this point, started to plan out my meals. So now that I've got my 3 meals a day with 2 snacks, I started to actually figure out, well, what am I going to have in that time? I used to have this terrible habit of going to the grocery store and just, oh, that looks good, that looks good, that looks good. I wasn't able to really track my budget, and I wasn't really able to track the meals and then the calories as well, because I just went in there with no plan. So I decided, you know what, that's my weak point. I want to start working on that. So I started to plan. And so I would plan, then go to the grocery store. And I realized that groceries, A, became a lot cheaper, and B, my meals, the calories started to drop quite a bit. This is also where my diet started to take a change as well. At this point, I made a decision to cut out snacking, right? I went from 5 feeding periods. Now I cut down to 3. Now breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is also the point where I started to integrate exercise, sort of dedicated exercise. I would do 1 walk per day, and that was only about a half a mile to at best a mile. Again, just want to be honest, this might not be, a lot compared to what a lot of you guys are out there doing, but I just had to work with what I knew I could stick with in the long run. So in phase 2, so from week 3 to the end of month 3, I lost 29.4 pounds. As the weight came off, now we're in starting to lose some serious amounts of weight. This is where I started to go back and reevaluate my new maintenance calories and then readjust based on the weight I was losing. Typically, it was done around every 10 pounds. I would get back onto the calculator.net, punch in my new weight, and it would give me that new calorie, and I would set myself that deficit. Typically, I was about 500 calories per day in a deficit, but I was eating really healthy, full meals, so I didn't feel like I was losing out, right? I would substitute this for that, and it would kind of fill up the plate more. So as I was eating less, I was actually eating, physically, I was eating more, bigger meals. So that kind of helped me out. The psychology of it really kind of helped me kind of push me along. Phase 3, this is kind of where we get into the meat and potatoes of it. This is from the end of the 3rd month, pretty much until I got down to my goal weight. This is where I'm starting to really get into my rhythm. This is where I'm settling in for that long road ahead. I cut back my cheat meals. Initially, I was having 2 cheat meals per week, one in the middle of the week and one at the end of the week. Cheat meals for me are basically meals where I'm not going above my calories. I still maintain strict calorie discipline, but I have whatever I want as long as it fits within those calories. So now I'm down to 1 cheat meal per week, and that's Saturday night. I still do that. That's my 1 cheat meal per week is Saturday night. Again, I have anything I want as long as it falls within my caloric restrictions, my caloric intake. And as the calories go down, so do the size of the cheat meals. But you also need to understand that I now am less than half the person I was when I started. So hopefully, if I've been doing my job right, my stomach's also been shrinking. So I can't eat the same amount either. So if you're wondering, if you're worried about, I don't like the idea of having smaller cheat meals, well, if you're doing it right, it shouldn't be an issue because you are shrinking as well. So just keep that in mind. So cut down the cheat meals, and my hunger, this is where I also started to notice, my hunger had gone down significantly. And I also feel like I should say there was no real detrimental impact on my energy levels throughout the day. I mean, you guys are seeing me each and every week. I was uploading videos, feeling really, really good. There was the occasional brain fog every now and then, but I think that was down to more dehydration than anything else. Again, I was learning to live with a whole new thing, right? A whole new way of life. And so there was some impact. But every time I had an issue like lightheadedness or whatever, it was a quick fix. Consume more water, top myself off, and I was back on the road and good to go. Something, again, I stressed from the beginning, from the get-go, is your body is your best indicator. It will tell you if it needs something, if it's short of something, if it's lacking anything. Just listen to it. It won't steer you wrong. Really, very rarely, if ever, will it steer you wrong. So, just a little side note there. I was still tracking my calories here in phase 3, but at this point, you start to get pretty good at eyeballing things, start to get pretty good at figuring out what is what, and you kind of ease up the reins a little bit, because let's just be honest, when you're out and about on vacation, whatever that may be, right, you're not always going to have those scales there. So eventually you're going to have to learn to just kind of live with it. And so I was a little apprehensive about doing this, but that was the fun thing about getting on the scales every week is if you didn't do well, there was no hiding it. I can't just somehow, take off a leg and lose however many pounds there are on the legs. Oh yeah, no, I lost weight. There's no hiding it. It either works or it doesn't. And I think I had one, maybe even two bad weigh-ins where I got on the scales and I weighed more than I did the week prior. But again, I just kind of got back into it, got into the zone, and whatever weight I gained quickly fell right back off again. This is also where I started to really flesh out a real workout plan. That involved, number one, moving as much as I possibly can throughout the day. We're going from, well, I should probably, maybe move a little bit to, Thomas, you're not doing anything right now. Your work is slow. Get up and push a broom around. Or, you know what, it's a nice day outside. Spend your lunch or half of your lunch just going around the parking lot. It really was cramming every possible movement into every free second, everything. That is what I had to do. I zoned in and I just got it done. I didn't enjoy it a lot of the time. A few times I did, but I just needed to get in there and get it done. Also, I started to implement daily walks, and I mean no longer half mile or a mile. Now about 2.5 to approximately 4.5 miles, Monday through Sunday. I was doing that every single day. Sunday was very quickly, that did become sort of a rest day. More because I felt like I had been doing so well and I was losing so much weight that I kind of earned it. I also like being lazy. So Sunday very quickly became a rest day, but for a while there, it was Monday through Sunday. I started doing indoor workouts. So that would be indoor jogging on the spot from anywhere from 25 to 55 minutes per day, Monday through Sunday. This one, again, I was doing, and then only recently have I actually started to cut that back. But that was only about maybe a month ago I stopped doing Sundays. But yeah, Monday through Saturday now, every single day, jogging on the spot, 25 to 55 minutes. Just get that movement in. And then indoor workouts in kind of the resistance department, crunches and dumbbells, Monday through Saturday, kind of alternate. I'll do crunches one day, I'll do dumbbells the other, starting to do that more and more. And yes, I know a lot of you folks have been telling me, get that protein up there and really start working on that resistance. You guys are absolutely right. I've been putting it off, giving excuses, but there's no reason to do that. I appreciate all of your feedback on that. I will do better, I promise. I also decided to start using this period of time, now that I've got the diet down, I got the workouts down, weight's coming off, life is good. I started to kind of take a deep look inside and try and figure out why food was such a magnet. I say a magnet because good day, food. Bad day, food. Stressful day, food. Sad day, food. Happy day, food. Anything I would associate and I would celebrate or I would fix with food. And so this is where I really started to try and figure out the addiction and learn to control it as best I could. It's an addiction. It always will be. But now I'm learning to cope and learning to teach myself that through saying no, I can say no tomorrow and the next day and the next day, right? It is not going to kill me to pass up on a fast food. It's not. And so I'm learning every day to just get a little bit better and to become a little bit more happy with the guy I see in the mirror every day. And so, yeah, recommend it thoroughly, really, truly. And then with all this free time, again, now I'm kind of not really eating as much. Now I'm kind of cutting down to pretty much one meal a day at this point. Again, it's not strict, but 9 times out of 10, 6 days out of 7, I am having one meal a day. And so with that comes all this extra time, right? What do you do with that extra time? I started all these different projects, started reading a whole lot more, trying to become a better editor and YouTuber, YouTube extraordinaire. I just decided to try and better myself as a person and to fill all this extra free time with things that I thought would just make me a better man, husband, and again, future father one day. So that were the first three phases. That was the first three phases. Now we're getting into the phase that I'm at now, right? This is the refeeding phase, right? This is a very, very important step, right? You're down there, you've hit your goal weight, life is good, I can stop now. No. You can't just stop, unfortunately. Just because the diet is over does not mean the diet is over. If anything, your new life is just beginning, and that's okay. Refeeding is a step that you have to do when you are in a significant calorie deficit, like I've been for an extended period of time, like I have been. You cannot just go back to your maintenance calories, right? I was down to 1,100 calories day after day after day after day after day after day, week after week. So I can't just shoot up, right? Because you can get this thing called refeeding syndrome. It's very bad. I will put a description right here, right? Not good, no bueno. Don't try it. And so what I wanted to do, I wanted to break up the refeeding part into two parts. Number one, rehydration, and number two, refeeding. Right? Rehydration is where I have been for the past, two weeks now, almost 3 weeks now. Basically, we're getting into the hot time of year. It is consistently now over 100 degrees where I live, and your body, at least my body, because I move a lot, it sweats. So it is really important for me to be topping off those fluids, making sure that my body, number one, has enough electrolytes, enough good salts to keep me going, keep my head on the straight and narrow, and not losing all that balance, right? It's not good, right? So I wanted to make sure that before I got into anything rigorous, I was just going to focus on staying hydrated. Really, really, really hydrated. Like, I'm peeing all the time, and that's a good thing. My pee has never been so clear. I could probably drink it and it would taste like water. So that may be a little bit too much information, but that's where I'm at, right? And rehydration now also kind of is followed by refeeding. Refeeding is exactly what it sounds like. Your body has been diminished. I have lost a lot of muscle. I have lost a lot of fat, right? Now I look like a balloon that has been left out, and the air is just slowly gone bye-bye. So now I have to slowly start to reintroduce calories into my life. Calories equals energy, and energy is good, right? Calories and protein. So what I've been doing is I've been slowly adding approximately 50, sometimes 100 calories per day, so per week. So Monday through Sunday on week one, I added an extra 50 calories every day. So next week, it'll be another 50, sometimes again, 100. It just depends on what I add. And then until I get to that, approximately 2,000 calories, 2,100 calories, and I'm back on kind of safe ground. It should, given if I do only add 50 calories per week, it'll take me approximately 22 weeks or 5.5 months to get to my new normal. So I've had a lot of people tell me, Thomas, you could probably, you don't have to play it as safe, you could probably add an extra 100, maybe even 150 calories to your daily intake. You know, you'll probably be all right. And I'm probably going to do that. So just, I hear you people, I hear you. So the growing calories are going to be split, right? Probably will end up becoming 2 meals. Again, I like the idea of having one huge meal. It sounds great. But I also like the idea of sleep. And I don't sleep very well on a very, very full tummy. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is once I get up to probably about 1,500 calories, I'm probably going to split off to a separate meal, maybe a lunch, a small lunch or something like that. And then I will, again, just have kind of 2 smaller meals as opposed to one big one. And so I'm also going to be focused, as I have been, on increasing my protein intake as well, so that I can really start getting that resistance training going, get it up there as it should be. I expect the refeeding to last approximately 8 months. I want to, once I get to my maintenance, I want to live there for a little bit as well. Live at maintenance, again, before I can really start getting into my final segment, my final phase. That is the rebuilding. That's the fun part, right? That's the, where I turn into Arnold and pump me up. I get really strong. That was a terrible Arnold impression. I apologize. But that is where I'm going to start a real change. That's where my body is going to go through some change. I'm going to become a gym bro. Yeah, dudes, totally. Is that even a gym bro? Is that how they talk? I don't know. But that is where I'm going to start really focusing on building the muscles and getting rid of these movies. Now, I've actually been surprised because for the longest time I thought my man boobs were here to stay. And while, woohoo, a little flash there, while they're still there, again, I got nothing to hide. I got no shame. While they're still there, they have shrunk a huge way if you compare them to that right there. Yeah, they shrunk in a big way, so I'm very proud of that. But I really want to focus on getting my body looking good, right? All right, I look a little different. Hair's a little shorter, clothes are different. That is because it is a couple of days later. I wanted to take a break just so that I could stay focused, stay on topic, and approach everything with a fresh set of eyes. So this next section is what would I change about my journey? It's really hard to, of course, hindsight is 2020. But if somebody were to ask me, Thomas, I'm doing something similar myself, and do you have any tips, tricks, advice, or feedback for me? There's not a whole lot I'd change. After all, again, not to brag, but I've done pretty well, I would say, in the time that I've had, the time that I've been given. One of the things that I probably would have tackled though, or started doing a little bit earlier on, would be just taking the exercise a little bit more seriously. Like I said, pretty much from the get-go, I started to move a little bit more, just making a habit of getting up and moving around and stretching and maybe getting into a jog when I knew people weren't around. But I think I would have started to really focus on dedicated exercise a little bit more if I could go back and do it all again. I feel as though it's also really important to emphasize, don't get crazy with the scales. Weight will fluctuate. It will fluctuate on all sorts of variables. It will depend on the weather. If you have a really hot day, you sweat a whole bunch. If you rehydrate throughout that day, if you drink a lot, the day before, right? There's so many variables as well. So don't sweat the scales. I made a very strict point to not get on the scales, to not obsess about it once a week. And I feel like that has worked out for me very well. Again, I feel like the results kind of speak for themselves. And then what I would have also maybe changed, it's not really so much of a change, it's more of a recommendation. There was definitely an addiction to fast food. And initially, like with the soda, I went cold turkey. I went without just to prove to myself that I could go without. And I keep having one soda per day. I've been doing that for months now. And that might not sound like a big deal for you, but for me, the Thomas from 2 years ago was having 4, 5, 6 sodas a day. And basically my only limit was my small bladder and having to get up, and me being too lazy, not wanting to do that. For my cheat meals, again, it's the same thing. I was addicted to fast food. Now I wouldn't even say fast food. I have a cheat meal once a week. And in those cheat meals, sometimes I have fast food. But again, it's just kind of having what I want. Now it's become a recipe that I'll see on the internet, or it'll be, again, fast food. But it's just change, little change. So just keep those things in mind. Just keep that in mind. Exercise is great. Maybe start that a little bit earlier. Scales, don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. You know if you're doing the right things or not. And then those cheat meals, just focus on really tackling the addiction inside. it's a big thing for me. Something, again, I'd recommend for a lot of you. So that was that. Now we're getting into the questions. So the questions, I went back and looked at a bunch of my videos. There's a lot of videos, so there's some I missed. I apologize. A big one was, what do I eat? You know, what does my diet look like? And I feel like that's a really, really loaded question because as you guys heard, there's been different stages to my weight loss journey, right? And so my diet has changed accordingly. I'm also a creature of habit. So my diet, if I find something I like, I'm good to stick with that for 3-4 weeks at a time. And that really could be chicken and rice every single day, you know, Monday through Friday for 3 or 4 weeks, right? That it sounds hard to believe. Again, I like what I like, and I will just, if it works for me and if it works on the scales, then I'll just keep doing it until I get tired of it and move on to the next thing. A big thing that I love, salad bowls, where I'd have some sort of protein. I like ground turkey. I actually like ground turkey cold. It might not be for everybody, but that on a big salad. I love couscous, chicken, loads of fruits and vegetables. I like making stir fry, cutting up onions, bell peppers, cucumbers, everything, making, again, big salads, stir fries, stuff like that. And you don't have to be hungry without doing this. If you're hungry, if you're truly hungry, then eat something. Eat an apple. Find fruits that you like, because one of the things that I used to be really bad for was saying, all fruit tastes the same, it's not good. I have better luck with candy or whatever. But getting out there and getting to the grocery store and just trying new things, just picking something up and saying, I've never had this before, taking it home. And if you don't like it, okay, you've wasted a couple bucks, but you know, next time I'm not gonna have to have that again. But for me, I found some really, really good, good fruits that I really enjoy. It sounds really, really crazy. I never really used to have kiwis all that much. I've had them a couple of times, but now I really enjoy them. A lot of people will tell you, oh yeah, but you gotta watch the sugars and you gotta watch all this and that. It goes back to what I was saying, calories in versus calories out. I guarantee you, if you're having fruit and you're having its equivalent of candy, you're probably better off with the fruit. That's just my opinion. Again, my proof is in the pudding. I know what I used to look like. I know what I look like now. So I know what works for me. So again, for the diet, I apologize. It's really hard to give you like a strict, you know, Monday I have this, Tuesday I have this. I weighed out my food. I made sure I stayed in the calories and I had pretty much whatever I wanted. Now, again, eggs, chicken, rice, vegetables. That's pretty much 90% of my diet. And I like it that way. It keeps it very simple for me. And coffee, I love coffee. A little bit of milk in there, no shame in it. You know, I make up for it. Like I said, I'm still in a deficit. It's coffee and milk, that's my thing. So next one. What do I enjoy most about my new weight/lifestyle? The biggest thing is mobility. I've lost a lot in the way of muscle. I'm definitely having a harder time doing my regular job where I move and lift and shift a lot of stuff, but that's going to come back when I do the resistance training more and more. But I really enjoy just being able to get up more, you know, with a lot more energy and being able to move and twist and bend over and pick things up. And it just, my body feels so much better. If I had to pick one thing, that's what it would be. Mobility. I've got it now. I love it. Do I regret not focusing more on resistance training? No, I don't. I made it very clear. I've stayed consistent with this from the get-go. My goal was to lose weight, right? I've lost weight. It came at a cost, but I'm okay with that. I knew that if I was going to stand any chance of succeeding on this journey, I was going to want to see results in a big way quickly. And so I knew that there was going to be a faster way to do it. And it wasn't going to be detrimental to my health, right? I wasn't putting myself in danger. I was just losing more muscle, right? Again, it's not a crash diet. It's not some sort of strange, weird, dangerous cleanse. It is just focusing on cardio and not having so much of an emphasis on resistance. Again, I just had to do what worked for me. And seeing those results, again, what was it, 17 pounds in 2 weeks? That was what I was looking for. With resistance training, I definitely would look probably better than I do now. Maybe a little bit more buff and a little bit less of the saggy skin. But I'm really happy where I am, and I wouldn't change it for the world. But again, what works for me doesn't necessarily mean it'll work for you. Okay. If I could give one piece of advice to somebody starting out, what would it be? The biggest thing I would have is I've started weight loss journeys time and time again. I've done it. I've failed so many times. You have to do it when it's right for you, right? Not when it's right for, unfortunately, your doctor, not when it's right for your parents, not when it's right for your friends, right? You have to do it when it's right for you. You are going to be going into battling it out with your bad habits that you have had for years, right? Unfortunately, what your doctor is going to tell you, or what your mom or your friend or your wife or your husband, whoever it is, what they're going to tell you, it's not going to change your mind. Because if it was going to change your mind, it would have done it the first time, or that, last year. You need to do what works for you, I'm afraid. And don't get me wrong, I understand the good intentions behind it, because I've been there myself, knowing and understanding, that this person is doing real damage, or that I'm doing real damage to myself. But at the end of the day, I just didn't care enough in the moment. And I reached a point where I cared, where I'm like, oh crap, this is gonna end very badly. And nothing that my parents had told me, nothing that my doctor had told me, or that my wife had told me mattered up until that point. I had to realize it for myself. And once I realized that, I'm like, oh crap. I kind of spun into overdrive, and I took it on. And it thankfully, very thankfully, knock on wood, it panned out for me, it worked out for me. Unfortunately, for a lot of people out there, it's too little too late. So I would ask you all to please hit that point as soon as you possibly can. But I also understand that I was that person, and I needed to do it on my own time. So I just hope it happens to you guys sooner rather than later. Okay, final question is, what is something about losing weight that surprised you when you first experienced it? This is one that kind of took me by surprise. It is that losing weight is painful. Like, it is very painful, but not in the ways that you might think, right? I've always emphasized healthy and safe weight loss, so the pain doesn't come from, going and starving yourself or dehydrating yourself. It's nothing like that. My pain came in my sleep. My pain comes when I sit. I'm bony now. I'm very, very bony. And usually, I used to be a side sleeper. I used to sleep on my side, right, kind of fetal position. But now, I can't do it anymore, because I used to be chubby and I used to have a lot of fat, especially around my knees. And so I'd sleep on my side, no problems, no issues whatsoever. But now I can't do it anymore. I'm just too lean. And that sounds really, stupid. Boo-hoo, Thomas, that's a real rough deal, right? I'm not asking for sympathy. It's just a question I've been asked. And so I thought, you know what? That is something that I did not anticipate. I had no idea that was going to happen, but it did. And so, yeah. And then also, I'm going to make this a two-parter. The pain, for one, definitely for sure. The other one, this is not surprise, but it's just kind of, I'm going to tell you this. It is the amount of times that you're going to have to say no. I don't think you'll understand it until you're in that situation, or maybe you do. Thanksgivings, birthdays, Christmases, the amount of, when you're at work and people bring donuts. People, again, I think they're just inherently kind and they just want to share. And so they'll ask you, hey, do you want this? Or do you want another helping of this? Or do you want another drink? Or do you want another? The amount of times that you will be sitting there saying no, no. And it is very, very frustrating. Again, not people, I think are just genuinely trying to be kind and they just want to share. But like you're sitting there and you're struggling and you're battling and you're going to be saying no a lot. So just throwing that out there, you will experience that. It will get annoying, but it's okay, right? It's all right. Life is good and those aren't bad problems to have. So the summary of this, right, of a year and a half of work, for one, I would say it's pretty fair to say I think I've been pretty productive in this year and a half. There were tons and tons of ups and downs. I would say there were far more ups than there were downs. I am very, very fortunate. I don't think I would have gotten nearly as far as I have today without you guys. I'm not just saying that or playing that up for the camera. Having you guys give me tips, tricks, advice, just a kind and encouraging word, it has meant everything to me, truly. So I would recommend that for you guys. Again, not everybody has that want or the will to get up in front of the camera and hey, everybody, look at me. I totally understand, but I just feel like for me, it has kept me accountable. I've gotten to know some great people. And so I have nothing but good experiences to share. And if we kind of change the camera up a little bit, you guys can see behind me, right? I've added things, I've changed things. The journey has grown and gone left and then right and then up and then down, right? Little things that I've added and people have said, hey, I like this or I don't like this. It has helped me become a better person, a better YouTuber, a fitter person, and a healthier person. So I'm very, very, very fortunate for that. I've created a platform where I've met some phenomenal people. I've talked to some incredible folks out there, and I've really got to see what the best of humanity has to offer, and it is truly inspiring. I've decided that I want to carry on with YouTube. I don't know how that's going to look. I'm definitely going to keep up with the updates on the weight loss, but I've had a couple of ideas of things that I like, that are important to me. But I really want to get your honest opinion, right? A couple things have happened. You guys have known that I've been saving up for a truck for a long time. I finally got a truck. Very, very happy, love it. I got it a few months ago. It's new to me. It's not the newest of the new, but I love it. Maybe you guys might want to see me do some work on that. I don't know. The she shed is starting to wrap up. We're starting to get getting some content in there. Do you guys want to see me do some projects around the house? Just let me know. That's what I want. I want to create a channel that you guys enjoy. That when you see, oh, getting my life back uploaded, I want you guys to be happy and think, wow, okay, I can't wait to watch that. So just let me know what you think down in the comments below. But yeah, we are here July 2025, started January 2024. It's been good. It's been great. I wouldn't change anything. I'm so lucky, so happy. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know if there's anything else I can answer down below. This is actually also the same day that I'm doing my weekly upload. So you guys are gonna see me dressed the same as probably my last video. So thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. You are the best. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.